Right now, there's a war going on, not on some distant battlefield, but inside our own bodies. And it's a fight that could change the future of medicine forever.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if the drugs we rely on just stopped? It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's a very real threat. We're talking about the invisible war against bacteria and how our greatest weapon is starting to fail. This is the story of antibiotic resistance.
But before we get into the whole miracle drugs failing thing, we've got to appreciate the incredible defense system you're already walking around with. Your body is basically a fortress under constant assault from microscopic invaders.
And like any good fortress, it's got layers of security. The first line of defense is your outer wall. Its only job is to keep stuff out. But if an intruder manages to breach that wall, that's when the second line of defense kicks in, an elite internal army ready to hunt them down. And these barriers are seriously clever. You've got the obvious one, your skin, which is an amazing physical shield. But you also got tiny hairs in your nose and airways that act like little traps. Your body even has its own chemical weapons. I'm talking about things like powerful stomach acid and even enzymes in your tears that literally destroy bacteria on contact.
But, no fortress is perfect. Every once in a while, a pathogen, that's a germ, is going to slip past those outer defenses. And when it does, alarms go off, and the body deploys its special forces, the immune system.
This internal army has two main types of soldiers. You've got your phagocytes. Think of them as the frontline grunts. They aren't picky, they just see an invader and chomp. They swallow it whole. Then you've got the real specialists, the lymphocytes. These guys are like a special ops team. They can identify a specific enemy and then create custom-made weapons called antibodies just to take them out. It's incredible.
For almost all of human history, that amazing natural fortress was all we had. If it failed, you were in serious trouble. But then, in the 20th century, a complete accident gave us a superweapon that changed the rules of the game.
So here's how it happened. It's 1928. A scientist named Alexander Fleming gets back from vacation and finds his lab is a bit of a mess. He notices that one of his petri dishes, where he was growing bacteria, has been contaminated by some weird mold. But here's the crazy part. Everywhere the mold was growing, the bacteria were dead. It was wiping them out. He had just stumbled upon penicillin, the world's very first antibiotic.
So what exactly is an antibiotic? It's basically a weapon designed to fight bacteria. It works in one of two ways. Either it kills the bacteria outright, or it stops them from multiplying, which gives your own immune system the chance to swoop in and finish the job.
Now, this is a really important point. Antibiotics are specialists. They only work on bacteria. They are useless against viruses. Why? Well, viruses are sneaky. They hijack our own cells to reproduce. So an antibiotic can't get to them without hurting our healthy cells. That's exactly why your doctor won't give you antibiotics for a common cold. It just won't work.
For decades, antibiotics were a miracle. It felt like we'd won. But we forgot a basic rule of any war. If you keep using the same strategy, eventually your enemy is going to adapt.
And that's exactly what the bacteria did. Through tiny, random genetic mistakes, or mutations, some bacteria were born with a natural defense against our drugs. They could survive an attack that would kill all their siblings. We call this ability antibiotic resistance.
These evolved bacteria, well, we call them superbugs. They're not necessarily stronger or faster in any other way. Their only superpower is that they figured out how to survive our best medicines, which makes them incredibly difficult and sometimes impossible to treat.
Now this is where the story gets really alarming, because this isn't just a natural process that we're watching from the sidelines. The scariest part is that we are actively, if accidentally, helping the enemy get stronger.
So here's how we do it. Picture this. You get sick, you're prescribed antibiotics, and after a couple of days you feel great, so you stop taking them. Huge mistake. All you've done is kill off the weakest bacteria. The really tough ones are still alive, and now with no competition, they're free to multiply and pass on their resistance. You've basically just hosted a training camp for superbugs.
When you zoom out, this whole problem is being fueled by three main things. First, overuse. Doctors prescribing antibiotics for stuff like the flu, where they do absolutely nothing. Second, what we just talked about, people not finishing the full prescription. And third, and this one's huge, is the massive use of antibiotics in farming, which can create resistant bacteria in animals that then spread to us.
Okay, so I know this sounds pretty dire, and it is. But this war is not lost, not by a long shot. We just have to get smarter.
We need a whole new strategy if we're going to protect these miracle drugs for the future.
So what's the new battle plan? Well, a lot of it starts with us. It's simple things, really. Only taking antibiotics when they are absolutely necessary. And if you are prescribed them, you have to finish the entire course. Every single pill. On a bigger level, hospitals have to double down on hygiene, and doctors need to act more like snipers, using a specific drug for a specific bug, not a shotgun that hits everything.
And here's the thing that makes this so incredibly urgent. While bacteria are evolving faster than ever, our ability to discover new antibiotics has slowed to a crawl. Our pipeline of new weapons is running dry, right when the enemy is at its strongest.
And that leaves us with a pretty sobering question. We have lived through a golden age of medicine, a time when infections that once killed millions became a minor inconvenience. That age might be ending, and the choices that we all make, you, me, our doctors, our governments, will decide what comes next.